To discuss, let's bring in Ryan Mauro, national security analyst at the Clarion Project. Ryan, welcome. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, he called on the IAEA to visit the site immediately. That was more than half a year ago. Is it too late now? What were they waiting for?
Well, there is a bureaucratic process that goes through the UN for the IAEA inspectors. And so we've heard about these type of delays just over the decades in regards to these types of inspection regimes. So I'm actually not terribly surprised, although I am disappointed by that. But is it too late? I don't think so. Because when it comes to specifically the allegations that there was radioactive material of some kind being stored in the location, in previous instances when the inspectors have gone to those areas where nuclear activity happened or material was stored, there were technical ways for them to get some type of reading to show, yes, radioactive material was in this spot. And really, that's just coming away with that would be significant for exposing Iran's intentions and their illegal activities.
So you're saying that even if the Iranians allegedly cleaned the site, tracks of enriched uraniums, they stay even if the materials are removed long time after?
Yes, it might, because traces of that have been discovered at in other places that the IAEA inspectors have gone to. I remember hearing about this all the way back in like 2003. There were other sites where this was going on. So there is some degree of confidence. Now, whether they can take that trace and then make some type of firm determination or accusation against the Iranian regime and say this means that you have aspirations for a nuclear weapons program, that is questionable. But at least when it comes to whether radioactive material was there is reason to believe that they might be able to at least show that. But regardless of that, just with the content of the archive that the Israelis took, I mean, that really shattered, particularly for the United States, its intelligence assessments of the alleged downscaling of the Iranian nuclear program after 2003. So the pattern here is that not that we overestimate Iranian activity, it's that we underestimate Iranian activity. That's the historical pattern.
But Iran claims we have nothing to hide, and they have given inspectors access to the site. But is it enough? Can we really trust the IAEA's assessments that so far, by the way, have shown that Iran is complying with a nuclear deal?
Well, Iran can stop inspections pretty much anywhere where there could be secret nuclear activity just by saying it's a military site. And the Iranian military controls so many different companies that can apply to just about anywhere. So it's very possible for the IAEA to say, look, we're not finding evidence of wrongdoing, but if you're trying to hide things from the IAEA, you're likely to succeed. As for the Iranians saying that they have no desire to hide things, for someone who says they have no desire to hide things, they sure do hide things a lot. And what we know from those documents is that Iran was actively pursuing nuclear missile capabilities and actual creation of nuclear bombs. And then apparently they decided to back away from that. It was too risky, and that was a smart decision on their part if they want to become a nuclear weapons armed power. By the way, think about how many times leaders around the world, including President Obama, cited that fatwa from the supreme leader of Iran saying it's against Islam for us to obtain or pursue nuclear weapons. If you're willing to lie in a fatwa, then you're going to be lying in every other circumstance.
So reportedly, the IAEA team, they took samples from the site, and they will have to analyze these samples now in order to determine what nuclear materials, if any, were present there. And that's supposed to take at least 2 more months. But what could be the impact, I will ask you, Ryan, if they do find something?
Well, I think that you're going to hear the same voices that made it sound as if this find was completely insignificant. They'll be repeating that same mantra because they'll say, well, it was before the nuclear deal was arranged is when the material was stored there. That might be the argument that they put forth, and it might be difficult to counter that unless we can somehow pinpoint exactly when it was there. And I'm not sure that we have the technical capability to do that. That would be outside my realm of expertise. But the overall finding of and proving that they were hiding some type of material in addition to the archive would be significant, because that would mean that they're likely hiding other things, because the archive there described a bigger program than we understood. And so I think the general consensus is that radioactive material and nuclear related equipment that's described by that archive still hasn't been accounted for. And so if this can show that there's likely the existence of material that has not been declared to the IAEA and we don't know where it is, then that's a big win for the adversaries of Iran who understand what they're up to.
Meantime, Ryan, what's the impact of U.S. sanctions on Iran? Do you believe that the United States will be able to cut Iran's oil exports to zero?
I don't know if they'll go all the way to zero, but they are being very successful. And you are seeing countries that we've given waivers to more time so that they can wean their dependency off of Iranian oil, that they have been moving in that direction. So I think that that's very positive, and you combine that with the internal pressure that the regime is feeling from the Iranian people who, regardless of economic circumstance, want a different regime and want to enter the modern world and move past this theocratic regime of thugs. It's a bleak assessment for the Iranian regime. Unfortunately, a key component that's missing is that there does not appear to be any type of substantive program to help the Iranian people organize for the day that the regime falls and to hopefully expedite when that day comes.
Ryan Mauro, national security analyst at the Clarion Project, thank you for that.